Hi guys, it's Emily, and look what's about to go down at my house. I cannot wait to make this. I got this Clean Simple Eats at my local Harmon's, and I also found Catalina Crunch Keto Friendly Mint Chocolate Cookies. So I'm going to combine the two and make a Ninja Creamy ice cream. I love mint chocolate chip ice cream and grasshopper shakes. So I think this combination is going to be so good, and I'm really looking forward to trying it. I am making the base right now, and then tomorrow I will put it in the Ninja Creamy and we will make our ice cream. So let's get started. This will be the mix-in. So right now I'm just making the base, and then this will be after the ice cream is made. Then there's a mix-in setting. So that's when the cookies will come in. So for right now, I'm putting this off to the side, and here I am building my base. So for the base, I'm going to put 1 scoop of protein powder. Oh, that smells so good. That's a pretty big scoop. I'd say it's about 2 tablespoons. And then to that, I'm going to add almond milk. Now I'm counting my carbs. So that's one reason why I use almond milk instead of regular milk, because this is only 1 gram of carbs. So I'm adding 11 ounces of almond milk to my protein powder. And then I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of cacao powder. I just want this to be really nice and chocolatey. And also I've noticed with using cacao powder, it gives it a really great texture. And speaking of texture, the pudding gives the ice cream a great texture, and it also makes it nice and sweet. Even though it's sugar-free, it still tastes sweet. So I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of sugar-free pudding. I'm adding chocolate. If you didn't want to add the pudding, you can add guar gum. This also gives your ice cream a good texture, and it's a good thickener. So either or, you can also use cottage cheese or cream cheese. So I'm just trying to keep things simple and chocolatey. So this is what I'm going with. I've been experimenting so much with making the base for my low carb ice cream, and I started writing everything I put into my pint on a Post-it note, and I stick it on there. And this is good for 2 reasons. Number 1, I know what it is in the freezer because I've got 5 of these at a time in my freezer. So I can look and see what this is. Also, if it doesn't taste good, I know not to do this again. Or if it's really good, I'll write really yummy on this. So this has been really helpful. And I have a stack of these that are for sure do-agains because I loved it so much. So I'm going to take my emulsion blender or my stick blender, and then I'll just give this a good mix, just for a few seconds. So that's what my base looks like. Now I'm going to put this in the freezer for 24 hours, and that's the hard part. That's why I always have extras in my freezer, because I can't go 1 day without making my Ninja Creamy ice cream. So this goes in the freezer, and we will do part 2 tomorrow. Hi, it's Emily. A few days ago, I made my Ninja Creamy base, and I wrote everything on the Post-it note that I put in here. I blended it up and put it in the freezer for a few days. I'm going to add my chocolate mint sandwich cookie today as my mix-in. So I've learned a few tricks with the pints. If you put them in the freezer without the lid, it doesn't make as big of a mountain. Sometimes the middle will just pop up and you have to shave it down. But I put my lid on after it had pretty much frozen, so I didn't get that big bump in the middle. So this is ready to go. So I'm going to add my blade, twist it until my arrows match up. And then I'm going to insert it until I hear a click, turn it on. And since this is a protein powder based ice cream, I'm going to choose light ice cream as my setting. Okay, that spin is done. So I'm going to remove it, and it's kind of dry. Can you see that's a little bit powdery, a little bit dry, but that's pretty good. Now I've learned a lot since I've been making these. I'm going to take my spoon and scrape down the sides because that's where it gets icy. And if you give this a good scrape after that first spin and you do one respin or one mix in, it's not icy anymore. Another thing I've learned is if you don't want to do multiple respins, you can add a little bit of liquid and it will usually only take one respin. I mean, this is pretty wet actually. This is not that powdery. I could probably get away with just doing a mix in, but I'm going to give it one respin. I want to kind of push it down so it's kind of level. Doesn't have to be perfect by any means because now it's soft and the blade can go right through it, but just kind of like that. And then I'm going to add a tiny bit of liquid. This is amazing. I love this stuff. 0 carbs. And see how much I added? Not even a teaspoon. Tiny, tiny bit. I'm going to put the lid back on and do a respin. Okay, it's just finishing up that respin. Oh man, that texture could not be better. That looks so good. So I've got a little bit of a hole right here in the middle. I'm going to put my mix in the hole and then cover it up. I'm going to use 1 of these chocolate mint cookies. You can use 2. In fact, 2 is 1 serving, 2 cookies per serving, but I'm just going to use 1. You could use 1 as a mix-in and 1 for the topping. Okay, I'm covering up that cookie. And I get to lick my spoon. One thing I forgot to add to this, which I just tasted and it tasted so good. When I took that bite, it reminded me of something I added at the last minute and I didn't write it on the Post-it note. I added 2 drops of this peppermint cookie, and this is stevia liquid sweetener. This just made that mint pop. And I definitely want to remember this for next time because that tasted so good just now. Because remember, I use these for references, kind of like a recipe. If something's really good, I'm going to use this for a recipe and make it again. Okay, that looked so good. Now I'm ready for my mix-in. Okay, now I'm doing the mix-in setting. That chocolate mint cookie all crushed up and incorporated. And that's my last step. Oh, I can't wait, it's almost done. Cannot wait to see this and try it. Look at that, you guys. I can see the little green filling from that cookie and some chunks of the chocolate. Check that ice cream out. Oh, look at that. Since I scraped the edges, look, there's no ice on the outside edge. Look at that mint in there. Okay, here we go. That is every bit as delicious as a grasshopper shake or mint ice cream. This ice cream has so much flavor. Oh, look at that big chunk. This is going to be in my rotation because this is seriously good. Not very many carbs. So good. I've got another really good tip for you. See how this is already starting to melt just on the edges? Or if you're not going to sit down and enjoy the whole pint at once, it's very tempting just to eat the whole thing. But if you're not going to, and you want to keep it from melting, you can use one of these these are like coffee mugs that keep things either warm or cold for a long period of time. I started keeping these in my freezer and then I read that you're not supposed to. So another tip is to fill it with ice for 10-15 minutes and then empty this. So I emptied the ice and then I'm going to put my ice cream in this. And then if I don't eat it all, I can just put this in the fridge, and it came with a lid. And then it will keep the ice cream this consistency. It might soften up a little bit, but it won't melt all the way. So this is a good way to make your ice cream last a few hours. And look, it filled that up. So I'm going to put the lid on this and put this in the refrigerator. It will last a little while and not melt. Feel free to try this recipe and let me know how it goes. I hope you love your Ninja Creami as much as I do. It's a treat I look forward to every single day. Cheers to you.